We turn now to Minnesota Congressman Dean Phillips. He was one of the few Democrats to run against President Biden in the primary. Good to have you here.
Great to be with you.
So when you suspended your race in March, you endorsed President Biden. Do you stand by that? And what are you telling your delegates to do at this point?
I do stand by it. I mean, obviously, Margaret, I ran because I saw a delusion. I saw a country that was in a very different place than our Democratic Party. Over 50% of Democrats at that time wanted a different candidate. And I was on a mission to expose the truth, provide an alternative, and do what I really saw in the numbers and through intuition was necessary. It didn't work out, of course, but I was trying to create the conversation that I knew was a matter of when, not if. And now we're having it. The president did call me in March, a very gracious conversation, and I did endorse him, and I still endorse him. But it is time to step aside and turn this over to a new generation. My endorsement stays until he makes that decision. I'm encouraging that. The country's encouraging it, and he has a chance to be an American hero.
He says he has made a decision. It just seems to be not the decision many lawmakers would like.
It's the wrong decision.
40-odd.
Look, leaving a career in public service is not easy. When I ran for president, I knew I'd be giving up my career in Congress, a career that I absolutely love. But there's something more important. Joe Biden has had an extraordinary career. I can't come close to what he has done. But it is hard to leave this, and I recognize that. But he has to. He's got to put this country first. By the way, I want to send a message of optimism to Democrats right now. This could be the most extraordinary opportunity that we've had in generations to reset, re-energize, recommit, and actually not just change the narrative, which would really make Donald Trump upset, but to succeed. And I know the president recognizes that. I hope he concludes that quite soon.
So we have, 40-odd lawmakers who have now spoken out. There's over 200 House Democrats. So where's the majority at this point? Because a relative small number are actually going on record as you are right now.
Well, it started with one, me. Now we're at about 40. But the truth is,
he have the
we have a culture of silence.
Congress?
No, he does not. And in fact, I just wrote an op-ed that appears in the Wall Street Journal today that calls for a vote of confidence amongst my colleagues. A secret ballot, because so many are afraid that if they speak the truth, they're going to be punished, which is what happens in this business. It's repulsive. A secret ballot expeditiously, when we're back here this week, to present privately to the president to show him where Congress stands, I think would be helpful, because he is either ignoring the truth or those around him have failed to perform their national duty, which is to share the truth with him.
We have to take a break, but please stay with us. We want to continue that conversation on the other side of it.
Sure.
Welcome back to Face the Nation. We return to our conversation now with Minnesota Democratic Congressman Dean Phillips. Congressman, you were just saying that in your estimation, the president no longer has the faith and trust of the majority of Congress. Before your election, it was Republicans who held Minnesota's 3rd district for 60 years. You're not running for re-election there. With the scenario you are painting, do you think that Congress goes to Republican control? That's that seat, but also Congress in the Senate and the House?
I think so. And in fact, I think that's one reason we're seeing this massive shift right now is it's in my colleagues' backyard. They're seeing their numbers precipitously decline, our frontliners, the most important districts in the country. And to your point, I won a district that had not voted for a Democrat in 60 years. There are some of us that know how we can re-invite independents, never Trump Republicans. Democrats have been using imposition, not invitation. And I think my colleagues are recognizing that, sadly, a man we love, Joe Biden, is going to drag down this whole ticket. It's not just about the White House. And if Democrats do not hold the Senate or take back the House, I think it's real problematic for this country and for the future. And the answer is absolutely. And that is a pervasive sentiment, and it's real.
When you were considering your primary bid, you have shared, you made appeals to Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer and also Illinois' Governor J.B. Pritzker. You were trying to urge them to run. They chose not to. Then you jumped in. Would you consider them or advocate for them at the top of the ticket now?
Darn right. What I want to see, Margaret, is the president pass the torch, term that everybody's using now, and then have a mini primary. This is exactly what I called for a year ago. It's not too late. Is it perfect timing? No, not at all. We have 3 weeks. We could have 4 town halls in each geography in this country, invite the best and brightest Democrats, including those Governor Beshear, I think Joe Manchin, of course, Vice President Harris, introduce themselves to the country, create energy, excitement in delegates, have the delegates at these town halls, the people, the 3,000 or so people, 4,000, who will be making the decision in Chicago this August. You know, this notion that that could be disastrous if we went to some kind of a brokered convention or we had a competition, the disaster is here now. The question is, do Democrats want to win? If so, the names you just mentioned, many others. Let's have a thoughtful, spirited competition, show great contrast with a Republican felon of the past and a dynamic Democrat for the future. It's not too late.
What is the cost of coming out against Joe Biden? You've paid a cost.
Yeah, my career is done in Congress. So be it, a small price to pay for the country. Colleagues who have come out have received some veiled, some implicit and explicit threats relative to their campaigns. This industry,
From who?
I'm not going to get into the who's, but this political industrial complex, this duopoly, is a big part of our national problem. We need competition. Both parties stifle it. Both parties suppress it. It's not a false equivalency. I'm not talking about values and principles, but that is the truth. We need competition. We should be promoting next generations, not diminishing them. I understand why so many need to be silent because their careers will come to a close. We got to start rewarding courage and punishing cowardice.
Congressman Phillips, thank you for sharing
Thank you, Margaret.
your point of view with us.